Welcome everyone to today's webinar, Ultimate Career Leap, with our speaker VJ Niles. My name is Sylvia Fine. I'm the president of NAWMBA Seattle. I've known VJ over 5 years. She is truly an amazing career strategist. And today, I'm very excited about this webinar because you will learn strategies in career leadership, including how to make connections and build relationships, how to find opportunities, how to position your talents, how to tap into your resources, how to boost your career. This webinar is packed with information. Let's get started and please welcome VJ.
Hi, I'm VJ Niles, and welcome to the Ultimate Career Leap, 3 steps to catapult your career to the next level. I am the founder of the Niles Group and a career strategist and a career coach. And today I'm going to talk to you about how you can go from being frustrated and tired at work to having the ultimate career leap, right? You ever be at work and have to train your replacements, or have you ever watched other people get promoted over you and you've been at your company for 10 years, but you haven't had a promotion in like 4 or 5 years now? Isn't that frustrating? Or are you at work just counting down to Friday every week? Like, oh God, is it Friday yet? And then on Sunday, you're like, the weekend went too fast. It's Monday again. And you're back to counting down to Friday. This talk is designed to help you feel less like that and catapult you to where you would like to be in your career. So let's get started. All right, so we're going to talk about how to position your talent, not just your job title, how to make connections and build relationships, and how to tap into the resources around you. So, position your talent, not your title. This is a big thing. Most people talk about their titles, right? Oh, what do? I'm a business analyst. I'm a project manager. I'm a marketing director. I'm a web developer. But what does that mean? What do you actually do? What contributions are you making in your role? And we're not really comfortable talking about ourselves. We're not taught how to do it. If you talk about yourself, you're like a narcissist, right? So if you learn how to position your talent, not just your title, it gets a little easier when you talk about yourself. And when you do this, it brings clarity to what you're asking for when you talk to other people. It eliminates wasted time, and it ensures that you get the opportunities that you actually want. Nothing is worse than asking for help and getting an opportunity that is not what you want, right? And you're like, gosh, I just wasted all this time connecting with this person, thinking they were going to get me the help I needed, and they brought me a job that is just completely the opposite of what I truly want. Or worse, you don't get any help and then you're frustrated. Like, I tried this networking thing and it's not working because nobody's helping me. But sometimes it's because you're not as clear and concise as you think you are in asking for what you want. So if you create your career narrative, which is how you position your talent, not your title, that'll help you be able to do this a little easier. It sets the tone on how you talk about yourself. It talks about the results you provide. It's clear and concise. And if you practice it enough, it starts to flow out of you very easily. So when you do talk to people, you know what to say, right? Sometimes you ever get what I call Daffy Duck mouth, where you have no idea what to say and you're just like, right? Like, you just don't know how to say what you really want to say. And you leave a room or you leave a person, you're like, oh, I should have said such and such. And oh, I forgot about this and I forgot about that. But if you have a career narrative and you know how to talk about yourself and start the conversation, it's easier to let it flow. And sometimes it's just about getting that start. This will help you get that start. And to do this, here are your elements of it. It's about your accomplishments, your skills, what you're looking for, and what you need. Now we're going to put this together as a formula. I want you to write down 5 skills, 2 accomplishments, and 1 superpower. And yes, you do have a superpower. Don't think you don't have one. There's something that you do extremely well that people always come to you for, whether it's organization, negotiating, just being able to mediate between problems, talking across silos, whatever it is, you have a superpower, right? One of my superpowers is my ability to help people see their bigger picture from the pieces, or see their big picture and show them the pieces. I can do it in both directions. So it's kind of 2 superpowers, I guess, for me. But the reason why I want you to write down the 5 skills and the 2 accomplishments is because we're going to use them in different parts, right? You're going to start with 1, but as you continue your conversation, you're able to add in your other skills. You're able to add in your other accomplishments. So I know that might sound a little confusing, but just stay with me. So here's an example. Wrote down some skills: project management, operations, negotiations, team building. I'm going to throw in empathy as another one. Well, that's a superpower, communicating with empathy. Accomplishments: managing a $50 million project that finished within 10 months, shaving 2 months off the end date, and you saved $2 million, and developing a team through leadership training and mentoring. So now when you talk to somebody and they're like, so what are you looking for? And let's say, you're looking for your next role as a project manager. Here's an example of how this career narrative works where I'm positioning your talent and not just your title. As a result of my 15 years of experience in project management, I am able to manage multiple projects, including a $50 million project that was my team and I were able to complete 2 months early and save the company $2 million due to my ability to negotiate and build teams. I'm able to develop teams that work successfully across silos because I communicate with empathy, and I'm able to create new processes that can be easily implemented because I understand how each side thinks. I understand the needs of each department and how this new process affects our client, how it affects every department, and how we can grow and develop faster. Excuse me. So I'm looking for a role in a mid to large size company that will allow me to use my skills and successfully manage other people, preferably in healthcare, so that I can also bring these talents to a new team. Now, I talked about the project management stuff, the negotiations. I talked a little bit about the team building. I gave an accomplishment, right? That's huge. I talked about the empathy. I talked about how I'm able to talk across silos and really get people to understand what needs to be done. That is like a very powerful thing right there, right? That also shows my sphere of influence. So if somebody came up to me as if I was still a recruiter and said that to me, I'm like, wow, I got a client that's looking for somebody just like this, right? And then so when you're like, well, tell me more, and we talk a little further, then I can go into some negotiation things I've done, ways I've helped the customer feel happier, how I develop my team and the leadership training techniques I use and how I'm mentoring people. So now I have this great narrative that I've kicked off with such excitement that somebody's like, wow, that's a lot of experience. This person really knows what they're doing. They've already showed me what they can do for this company. You know what? I do have a client that's mid-sized. It's healthcare. I think I can help this person, right? So it's very clear. It's very concise. It's enough to wow somebody and really get you some traction because now I know what you do. You're not just a project manager. You actually help manage big projects. You talk across silos. You make sure the client is happy. You do things, right? You're not just coordinating schedules. You do things. So putting together this career narrative is very helpful in how you talk about yourself. Now, the second thing is networking, right? And this is like the reaction I get. People are like, oh my God, she said networking, not the N word. Help me. Please help. Anything but networking. I hate that word, right? Some of you cry, some of you scream, some of you hide in corners. It's not that serious. I want you to not be afraid of the word networking. You know what? I want you to throw the word out the window. It is about building connections. It is about bonding. I want you to consider this. When you go out for a networking event, you're going to a bonding event. You're going to find people to bond with. Like-minded people, people that can help you, people with the same synergy that want to help others, and you're going to bond. That's what we're going to do. Now, let's build those relationships. Let's connect with those people. Let's have conversations. Let's follow up. So you can connect with people in person, go out bonding, not networking. We're going to bond, go out bonding, bond with people on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a great platform for that. It's a whole social media platform for your career. So you make connections, you reach out to people. Hey, I see you're an X field at this company and I'm interested in getting into that path. Can you maybe share a little bit about your career journey with me and maybe give me 2 or 3 tips on some lessons that you've learned throughout your career? People love to talk about themselves. Just give them a chance, right? Connect with somebody. Ask if you can do a virtual coffee, 15, 20-minute call. If you want to have face-to-face time, use Zoom, and this way you get that in-person feel without having to be in person. Have conversations. If you run out of topics, there's always like, what are 3 things you're passionate about? Or talk about food. Everybody loves food. We all have to eat, right? It helps build that relationship. It helps build a connection with somebody. And for those of you who are like, well, I'm an introvert. I don't really like to talk to people. I don't really know. I'm shy. I'm not sure what to do. No problem. If you're out at an event, bond with some people. So what I want you to do, pick a color. Let's say red. Walk into the room and say, I'm going to talk to 10 people wearing red, whether it's An outfit, if they're carrying a red bag, if they're wearing red shoes, red is your color for the day. Talk to at least 10 people wearing red. If 10 is too much, make it 5 people. If you know you have to protect your energy and you're at a large event and you can't stay long, give yourself 75 minutes. 75 minutes, be very strategic. Go in that room, talk to men with blue ties, talk to women with gray shoes, right? Just be strategic and have a little fun with it. I'm going to talk to these people. Or see who's going to be on the guest list, right? If it's an event with the speaker, connect with the speaker on LinkedIn beforehand and be like, hey, I hear you're going to be the speaker at this event. I'm looking forward to your talk. I would love to meet you in person. I just want to connect with you and wish you well on your talk. That's going to be huge. That's going to go a long way in building a relationship, right? Because you're also making it comfortable for the speaker. So when you do approach this person, they're going to be like, oh, it's so great to, connect with you on LinkedIn. And thank you for sending me such a lovely message. And boom. Right there, you've already made a connection. You've already bonded with somebody. Then the most important part to bonding is following up. If you're at an event and you meet a recruiter and you say, I'm going to send you my resume, send the resume, right? If you talk to somebody that's a manager and they're like, you know what, we might have some things coming into the pipeline, follow up with me in a week because, I have a meeting coming up and I might hear some things. Follow up in a week. Just do whatever you say you're going to do. If you promise to send somebody an article, send the article. Right? Just do it. Follow up with people every 2-3 months. Hey, how you doing? Just checking in. Want to see what exciting things that you're working on. That's how you build relationships. That's how opportunities come to you and you're not chasing them down. If you think this doesn't work, I'll tell you a quick little story about bonding. I went to a LinkedIn local meetup event in New York, in Brooklyn. Met a lady there, nice lady. We were talking about, this, that, and the other. And she lived where I live, well, close to where I live, and asked her how she was getting home. She said she was taking the train. And then we checked the train schedule and the next train wasn't coming for like an hour. I said, well, I have to pass you to get home. Do you want me to just drop you back at your car? And she's like, are you sure? I said, yeah, no problem. We had a great conversation. So we continue our conversation. We stop at McDonald's on the way home, get some fries, and we're just chatting away. We chatted about everything. We chatted about beauty products, fashion, music, life, everything. Drop her off, stayed connected with her. Then she reached out to me and was like, oh, VJ, I've been meaning to reach out to you. I would love for you to come be a speaker for the women's group at my company. She works for Tesla. And I was able to go speak for the women at Tesla because I happened to meet this woman at a LinkedIn local event and we bonded and we just got along. And boom, I built a relationship and I'm still in touch with her. I spoke for them and I still follow up with her because she liked what I had to say. She liked some of the things that I talked about with her, which we'll get into in a few slides. And it led to opportunities. It also led to me speaking for women in Panasonic. So, it's just like opportunities can come your way where people are like, oh, that's right. You're such and such. I need your help because you're building relationships. So now here's some conversation starters. Because I know this is the hard one, right? So what brings you to the event? Was there a certain point the speaker made that resonated with you? What exciting thing are you working on? What do you enjoy most about your role? I really enjoyed what the speaker said about such and such. What about you? Just little things. You don't have to come up with some great, crazy conversation. It can just be something small. And of course, stay away from politics and religion, those no topics. But if you have to get down to the weather or did you see the game and it's not like a big sporting season, avoid that. At that point, just walk away. You could say, hey, did you see the game last night? Because it's like March Madness, and it's like everybody's watching basketball or whatever. But, just know what's going to be the right conversation starter. So different ways you can just keep your conversation going. Don't be afraid to use any of these, especially that 3 things you're passionate about one. I always hear travel and food and helping people are usually some of the top 3 I hear. Who doesn't like food? Who doesn't like to travel, right? You can always be that person that recommends good restaurants to somebody. And when you need something, they're like, oh, yeah, sure, I'll help you. You found me a great restaurant that me and my spouse went to for our anniversary. So there's so many ways that you can bond with people using any of these conversation starters. Now, your support system. This is the big step. This is what I call your professional board of directors. And it consists of 4 types of people: mentors, accountability partners, sponsors, and now the first 2 you can choose. The last 2 you have to get noticed by. But I will break down each one so that you know what we're working with. All right. So we all know what a mentor is, right? It's somebody that guides a less experienced person. They build trust and model positive behaviors. You don't always have to have a mentor that's older than you. You can have a mentor that's younger than you. It's about the experience, right? If you're an older person and social media isn't your thing, then you need a mentor that's younger than you that can help you navigate social media, right? If you're looking to change careers and you find somebody that has 12 years of experience in something that you're doing, that's a great person to be a mentor because they have the experience. It doesn't matter how old they are. I always recommend having a mentor in your company and one outside of your company, because there are times where you want to be able to talk to your mentor about everything, right? But you don't want to complain if you're having a hard time at work to your mentor. You want to go to that person to kind of help you navigate certain things. But if some topics you might not feel comfortable talking to your mentor about, you want to talk to somebody outside of your company. I always say have a mentor that looks like you and have one that doesn't look like you. Whether it's, having just one of the opposite sex, but definitely have one of a different culture, because you're going to get a different perspective. So I've had male and female mentors, ones that look like me, ones that didn't. And it was always just great, the feedback and the information, right? Especially as a woman, sometimes my, stuff I would need as a woman, I just need to talk to my woman mentor about that, right? It's just like, okay, so I'm struggling because I'm in a male dominated field. How can I help? Can you help me navigate through that? But then maybe sometimes I was at a company where I was dealing with a lot of microaggressions. Then I needed a mentor who looked like me, who understood what these microaggressions are, that has handled it and could help me navigate that as well. So you always want to pick a mentor that's obtainable. Don't pick like Oprah Winfrey and you don't have access to Oprah. Somebody that kind of is where you want to be, and somebody that you trust, that you build a rapport with, and make sure you respect that person's time. If you you find a mentor and you're like, okay, we're going to spend an hour together, one Sunday every 3 months, you make sure that Sunday's free. If you need to cancel a couple of days in advance. Always be on time and just be respectful of your mentor's time, because they don't have to do this. So you really want to value that relationship. Then we have accountability partners. These are people that make sure you do what you say you're going to do, right? Whatever commitment you've made, your accountability partner is the one who holds you to it. And you don't want to just pick like your spouse, your best friend, because they'll let you slide on stuff, right? They'll be like, yeah, I know you're having a rough week. You weren't feeling well, or the kids were driving you crazy. This was going on with the parents. A good accountability partner is going to be like, I know you had that going on, but you still need to dedicate time to do what you say you're going to do, right? If you're trying to become better with your speaking skills and you want to join Toastmasters, you can't say, yeah, I'm going to join Toastmasters, and then never join, right? If you have an accountability partner, that person can go, okay, so did you join Toastmasters yet? Great, you joined, cool. What are you working on with them? Where are you at? Are you practicing your speech? Like, what are you doing? So you have somebody to hold you accountable. Don't pick somebody that's in direct competition with you. So if it's somebody at your company and like, let's say you're a technical project manager, don't pick another technical project manager to be your accountability partner. Pick a non-technical person to be your accountability partner. In terms of like, if it's the same role. If you're an accountant, don't choose another accountant that does exactly what you do, because you're in competition, especially if you're like up for the same level of promotions. But if you're in different departments, that's perfect. You can have more than one. I've had up to 3 at one time. And pick somebody that's reliable. Don't pick somebody that's flaky. Don't pick the person that's late all the time, that flakes out, and if everybody's got that one friend, and if you don't, you might be that friend. So pick somebody that can help you stay accountable for what you want to do. Now the biggies, your sponsors and your advocates. These are crucial at your job, especially if you are in a mid to large company. They're a little harder at smaller companies, but the bigger ones definitely help move your careers forward. Sponsors are leaders in your organizations who develop your leadership skills, and they suggest you for opportunities. Advocates are also leaders, but they kind of co-sign on you when you're not in the room, right? They speak on your behalf. Both of these people can talk about you when you are not around. These are people who are sitting in meetings where all the new projects come down and they know what's going on in the pipeline, and they can recommend and suggest people for different opportunities. So I'm going to give you an example, because sometimes people get this really confused. So let's say there's Jill, and Dave is her sponsor, and Janet's her advocate. Actually, make it Kelly, so it's not, the names won't confuse me. So Jill's been doing a great job let's say Jill's an engineer and she works with the client facing side of different projects. No, we'll make her a project manager. We'll make it easy. She works really good with the client. She works really good with the teams. So there's a meeting going on. There's some new projects coming up and they're going to be looking for a new project manager. And Dave says, you know what? I think we should give Jill one of the projects. We got 4 projects coming down the line. I think Jill could handle one of those projects, right? She's been doing a great job. I've gotten some good feedback from her lately. I see she's been working with a career coach. She's got a mentor. I think she even joined Toastmasters, but I feel like her presentation skills have gotten better and she's working really well with the client. I think we should give Jill this opportunity. And Kelly's like, oh my God, yes. Jill is amazing. She's always on top of things. She works very well across different departments. You know, she's helped a couple people in my department with new processes. She made sure our client was happy when we, were behind on stuff. I think Jill would be perfect to lead a project, right? So in that instance, Jill now has a new opportunity that she knows nothing about yet because these 2 people who are higher up than she is are suggesting her for this opportunity. Now, people confuse sponsors and mentors. A sponsor does not have to be a mentor, and a mentor doesn't always have access to opportunities, right? Because your mentor doesn't always have to be that high up in the chain. But if you're trying to get, let's say you're trying to get a seat at the table and you want to get to the C-suite, you definitely need sponsors and advocates. And you have to get noticed by these people, right? So you have to increase your visibility. You have to be working on improving your leadership skills, your executive presence, so that they notice you, right? And then once again, you're bonding, right? You get to meet these people, you get to talk to them, get to know them a little bit, so they get to see what you're doing, right? You can't raise your visibility and still be hiding in a corner. So you have to step out of the shadows into your light, into your greatness, and get seen so that you can get sponsors and advocates. So when I spoke for Panasonic, I kicked off their women's group. There were about 120 people in the room. At the time, this is a few years back, there was 1 female VP, or she might have been an SVP, but she was high up in their senior management. There was 1. And so I asked in the room, how many women have a sponsor? She was the only one that raised her hand. I said, that's interesting. And I was like, and you're the only female in senior leadership, correct? And she was like, yeah. I said, okay. And I said, so you've had people sponsor and advocate for you. And she was like, and she thought about it and was like, yes, I have. And I was like, do you know who your sponsor is? And one of the gentlemen in the room starts laughing. And then another one starts laughing. And the CEO was her sponsor. And one of the other SVPs or somebody else in the C-suite was her advocate. And it was because of them that she was able to move up the way that she did. They're like, yeah, she was really hardworking. We paid attention and noticed she was raising her hands for opportunities. So you're able to kind of push yourself forward when people notice you. But you can't just, slick back and think, oh, well, if I keep my head down, maybe somebody will notice me and I'll just work hard. No, you have to increase your visibility. You have to raise your hand for opportunity. So please, especially if you're females, do not be afraid to raise your hand for opportunity. Okay? So to recap, you want to position your talent, not just your title. You want to bond and build relationships with people. And you want to use your support system. Do those 3 things, you automatically leap your career because people notice you. You're clear and concise about what you want, and you're developing relationships that get you opportunities. You're not just going on the job boards looking for a job. Now you're building strong bonds and relationships where people can actually help you. So that's it for me. If you want to connect with me, here's how you can connect with me. I'm on LinkedIn. It's VJ Niles, V as in Victor, J as in John, Niles. It's my website. That's my email address. Please feel free to connect. And I'd like to offer you some free gifts. I have a 6 Steps to Your Career Leap guide. It's a free downloadable guide. You can go to that website to get that. And I have about 10 slots free for a career assessment call where you can get a free 20-minute call with me if you want to go over how you can leap yourself into your new career. Or if you're thinking about changing careers, I've done it 4 times. That's kind of my jam. So I can also show you how you can pivot and still have that ultimate career leap. So thank you.